Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivemy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of superhero television or film. And this week on the podcast, a hero of their own writes.
Who is a hero if not stuntmen and women, stunt people?
The true heroes of cinema.
Unsung.
No until Oscars. Now. Well, now we're singing.
We're singing
I still
don't think they get Oscars, but
the movie doesn't make that happen. But today we're talking about The Fall Guy.
2024.
Oh, laying down the year.
I mean, there's a Fall Guy 1981.
Oh yeah, that is a good point. I suppose that is true. Yes,
So
the film as well.
film.
That was a television series.
The Fall Guy.
So we're talking about the film Fall Guy today on the podcast. It's a new movie. It just came out this weekend, and as we do anytime that we talk about a new TV show or film, we are going to give you a spoiler-free review. So in case you want to hear what we have to say about it before you decide if it's worth your time or you're going to go check it out, we are going to give you, in moments, a spoiler-free review. Then, once you hear the theme music, that is when we will enter the spoiler-filled section. And as well, before we get into today's episode, I do want to let anybody know that if you are in the Vancouver area, I am going to be in Vancouver performing stand-up comedy from May 15th to 17th at Chill X Studios. So I'm going to be doing a studio performance there in Vancouver, May 15th to 17th. If you're in the area, come on out, say hi, see me do some stand-up, and chill.
Vancouver, get on out there and see Andrew. He needs people to see him. I won't be there. I'll be home with the dog. So he needs you.
So I need you because Diana's taking care of other things.
I've got dog stuff.
She's taking care of Diana's stuff. But let's get into today's episodes. Let's start with the spoiler-free review. Let's start with the simple question. Diana, did you like it?
Oh, I did like it. I liked it quite a bit, but it's quite far from a love at the same time. This is one of those rare movies that I did like and think is good and makes me a little bit sad because it could have been great and it wasn't. I don't think the pieces come together to make a great movie here, but I can see every individual piece and I'm like, what a great piece. And then the puzzle pieces just didn't fit into a great picture, but it's really good. But I'm like, oh, this is so close to great. This is so close to like perfect and epic, and it doesn't quite get there, but it's like, it's such an enjoyable film. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are incredible on their own. They're incredible together. The action's really fun. Hannah Waddingham is also really having a great time in this. I've always liked her on Ted Lasso, but this was just really nice to see that she can go into other things. So I had a good time, and it's a good ride. It's kind of like a little draggy sometimes and a little too meta, and then also sometimes not meta enough. It's never quite... I'm never quite sure what the movie is for the longest time, and I'm not sure the movie does either, but it's wildly entertaining for pretty much the whole time too. So it's a good movie and I liked it, but it's not great and it gets a little complicated. And I'm like, I wanted you to be great. You looked like you were going to be awesome. And you're just like, oh, you're good. Those are my feelings on The Fall Guy. Andrew, did you like The Fall Guy?
I really liked it. I liked it more than you. I think it's great.
You think it's great?
I think it's great. I do.
I want to love it.
I think it gets to where, for me, it gets to where you want it to be. Like it's maybe not quite love territory, but I think it is great. I think it succeeds at what it's doing. I like its meta level. I agree that they could have gone a little bit more in that regard. But yeah, I think that like every scene, every vibe, everything that they go for, I feel like it successfully executes, whether it's the meta conversation about stunt people in film, whether it's just like actually the action set pieces are fun and good and practical and celebratory. I think that there's just a lot of fun here. And I was just kind of like smiling the whole time and a couple of like jaw drop, like, wow. There are some moments in this movie that really just kind of like floored me, and I had a terrific time from start to finish. Yeah,
I'm jealous because I had a lovely time, and I think I had like 2 big belly laughs, and the rest of the time I was just like, this is fun. And also maybe I just like went in, and it wasn't really what I thought it was from the trailers, and I think mostly in the action scenes is what I will say, because the trailers I was like, oh, it's about like what if a stunt guy got like caught up in like actual criminals. And then that is what happens, but it's also like, oh, he's not really like stunty in these scenes.
You thought it was going to be a trained stunt fighter having to fight real people.
Yeah. For the most part. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's this is more of a discussion for after the spoiler-free review, but yeah, there was a big disconnect to me from what I thought the trailer was saying this movie was and what it was.
Oh, interesting. Okay, this was the exact movie that I thought it was.
This was the exact film you thought you were being presented.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was I sat in my seat expecting this film to come at me, and it did.
You got what you ordered.
And I got exactly what I ordered, and it was quite good at it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Well, and can it be spoiled?
I mean, not really. It follows like a pretty like basic plot as it's going through. You're like, yeah, action movie, plotty stuff. It's just like
Action movie plotty stuff.
Well, I mean, there's action movie plot and then there's like comic book movie plot, and those
Sure.
are different. But this is very much like, yeah, action movie plot. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, where like it can't really be spoiled. It is a stunt guy gets in trouble, and then during which a series of stunt-esque scenes occur, ending in him having to resolve that trouble. It's a pretty A to B storyline.
He gets in trouble and he resolves it is a great way to describe this film.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. He gets into trouble in a way that sets him up to complete stunts. He does stunts. Stunts have been executed, and then the film has happened. And that's the movie, so I don't really think it can be spoiled for anybody.
I wish this movie was just called Stunts. It's fun to just say.
You could also, stunts is also a fun word. It hits the lips right.
Yeah, it kind of pushes your whole body back.
Yeah, it pushed you backwards. I like that. Stunts. Yeah,
You can feel it in your throat.
Stunts does feel good, doesn't it?
Although The Fall Guy is a great title because it's a double in this movie of like what happens.
Yeah.
So the entendre.
The entendre has been doubled, but stunts hits the lips right.
If there's a sequel, I think it should be called Fall Guy 2, Stunts.
So that's the spoiler-free review. You are medium on it. I really like it, but neither of us think it can really be spoiled. And let's go in for the spoiler-filled review now. Let's talk more about Fall Guy. All right, so now we are in the spoiler-filled section for Fall Guy. Yeah, he gets framed for murder, and then through that, a series of stunts happen in this film, and then he's like, I didn't do the murder, and that's the movie.
And people believe him.
Yeah,
And that's great.
It's not a lot to be spoiled here,
No,
and there is the person who betrays him is exactly who you think it is that betrays him.
They didn't introduce a lot of characters.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't a wide array of characters to choose from as the betrayer character that could be happening here.
Yeah. So
I don't know why I'm talking around it like we're not in the spoiler-filled section. It's Hannah Waddingham.
It's
and
Hannah
Aaron
Waddingham's
Taylor
character
Johnson.
as the producer. It's the only one in the film whose job is only money. So it is. It's pretty easy to kind of expect how it's going to play out.
Yeah, and the Fall Guy is the double entendre because he actually falls and he takes the fall for the murder. So actually, that's a great title.
Yeah, the title works.
The title works. But yeah, I think my biggest thing that I wanted to get in is just like, I do think that this movie is not at all, but I think in the action scenes specifically, this movie just didn't match the tone of I feel like this movie had two directors and it didn't. But it felt like the charming love story comedy stuff was one director. And then as soon as the action scene started, it was like, it's an action scene time. And the tone didn't seem to carry through for me in any way when an action scene would start. I didn't feel like there was a lot of cutaways to Ryan Gosling just being like, holy shit, I'm just a stunt guy and I'm fighting real guys who are trying to kill me. Or freaking out about stuff, which is kind of what I expected. And there wasn't this level of I'm not used to actually fighting real people. Why isn't he missing people? Because that's what he's supposed to do in fight scenes. Or he doesn't actually he actually hurts his hand or something because he doesn't usually hit people. This just it wasn't what I thought the movie was in any way. Every fight scene was just he's no, he's calm as hell and you might as well just be a cop.
Okay.
And I didn't love that. And even though the action was good, I was I thought it was going to be a little slapstickier. And you were going to be good at this, but not good at it.
You wanted the film The Nice Guys, where he punches through a glass window and it bleeds too much. And he's like, what the hell?
No, I wanted him to have skills that were different than the men hunting him, but complementary. I wanted to see, and these are things that I thought would happen. Him and a bad guy both fall down some stairs, and the bad guy's fucked, and Ryan Gosling just gets up. He's like, yeah, you got to tuck your neck in, and then you can fall downstairs.
Okay, sure.
I wanted scenes like that, and this didn't have that.
Interesting. Okay.
And I really, and I just couldn't let go of it.
Yeah, you seem really. It seems like just you're really hung up on this not being a movie that you had like pre-written in your head.
That's what I thought the trailers were giving me.
Interesting.
It gave me a little bit of that. I won't lie, because I feel like Winston Duke is in the movie I wanted.
Oh, okay.
Winston Duke is the stunt coordinator.
Yes, yeah.
Because in like the second half of the movie, he's doing fight scenes and he's also a stunt man. And he will like rock bottom someone and yell out Dwayne Johnson.
Right.
And I'm like, that's kind of what I thought this movie was. So
Yeah.
Winston Duke's in the movie I thought was being made.
Well, and I think that like I really like how this all plays out though. Is that like Winston Duke is the fight choreographer. He is the one who is putting all of this together, who knows the moves and does the thing. Gosling is a stunt guy. He's not a fight guy. He's not a choreographer. He is the guy who gets wire pulled. He is the guy who flips a car. He is not the Hong Kong action cinema guy who knows every type of like fight move and how to pull punches. Like he does a little of that. But I like that like he is the old Hollywood stunt guy. And I really like that like that's who he is. Like he is the dude who you call when it hurts. When they're like, you know, we have lots of fight people, but they call him to the set in Australia because they're like, we don't have anyone who's willing to die today jumping a car over a ravine in a way that's never been done. We have a bunch of people who throw punches, but we don't have a lunatic who's willing to get hurt. And I like that he is that person. I think that meshes really well into this world, and Winston Duke being a different person feels very well meshed in as well.
I like that he takes falls. I'm like, I can't be cool with it though, especially because his first real world fight. Because everything on set, I'm like, this is awesome. I love all this on set stuff. This is so cool. I love it. But then his first real world fight is he fights like 4 drug dealers, and that's like not just taking a hit. He wins a fight against 4 drug dealers. Yeah. And then you're like, well, he doesn't know martial arts. I'm like, he seems to.
He knows a little. and also like he's on drugs, and I just think that was such a beautiful scene, and it looked incredible. Like it was a moment where like they used the drugs to make it this hyper stylized thing that like wasn't quite what I'd seen in movies before. It's not the typical like we blurred the edges and mounted a camera to their chest kind of POV drug vision. They went with like this Scott Pilgrim hyper color. Everything sparkles. Everything hits a little bit harder. The fact that like they're like, we went with this really stylized Scott Pilgrim-y type of an action scene that stands out so well. I was like, that was perfect. I loved that beginning to end. I was so on board for that. I thought that visually that really popped.
That is fun, especially when he would punch people and it would kind of Batman 66.
Yeah.
Like a little like kabloom.
Yeah. A little boom and pow. Yeah.
I was like, I thought you didn't know martial arts. What's your background?
Okay.
I couldn't get over it.
You want to know more about who this man is?
I mean, don't know a lot about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these were my like, this is the main thing I couldn't get off track about when I watched this movie. I'm like, Winston Duke starring in the movie I wanted.
Interesting.
He's using like carabiners to fight guys and they're pulling them away. He's setting up like jump bags for when you fall out of things. I'm like, Winston Duke rules. And I like what his character's doing. And I like I love Ryan Gosling a lot. Like this is my only complaint about the movie basically. The rest of this movie is really, really fun and charming.
Right.
Like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt together. Oh my God.
They're great. They're terrific.
So cute.
Yeah.
They're back and forth. Their banter, like over the radios. Oh my God. I don't think I like spicy margaritas, and I still want one because of them. They've convinced me.
They're selling you on the spicy marg. I get it. And Emily Blunt is just one of those actors who she has chemistry with absolutely everyone. So she works on film with everyone she's ever been partnered with. I don't know what it is about her that just like, I mean, she's a very talented actor is one of it. But there are a lot of talented actors who don't know how to sell chemistry with people that they don't naturally have chemistry with. And sometimes you get like these perfect actor combinations where it's like, these are 2 great actors who naturally have chemistry and they hit it off. And sometimes, you know, in movies, it's like, then they started dating in real life. They have so much chemistry and this and that. Emily Blunt is someone who's just like knows how to turn it on every day at work and on camera with absolutely everyone, regardless of what their off-screen relationship is, which I presume is still lovely because I've not heard anything otherwise or like that her and Ryan didn't get along. but like there is a real strong ability she has that a lot of performers do not have.
No, not at all. Like, she's gorgeous and she's charming and funny, which is like just crazy. Like, every single time I've seen this woman on screen, I have fallen in love with her, and so have like whoever her scene partner is at the time, rightfully so. But it is wild, and I think this is probably the hardest one because I'm trying to think of like the Emily Blunt movies I've seen. It's like Edge of Tomorrow. Wait, is Edge of Tomorrow the Tom Cruise one?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the name?
yep.
It's Edge of Tomorrow, Jungle Cruise, and those are kind of like, actually Jungle Cruise is a little bit combative as well. She kind of has to do these like combative romantic relationships. Like,
Sure.
It's not like we fell in love and then like we just had to be cute the whole time. It's like, no, we fell in love or we're falling in love, but it's very like bantery, but also like we push each other's buttons, but we have to make that charming, which is wildly hard. And I'm realizing she falls into this a lot because Edge of Tomorrow is also very button pushy.
And then like Quiet Place, not so much, but that's her with her real life husband, and it's more about a familial bond than it is a romantic one, even though that is an aspect of the familial bond. Yeah.
And also like they can't speak.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's hard.
That changes things up a little bit.
The dynamic has to just be like, wave.
There's not there's not a sexual or romantic undertone throughout that one. I get that.
But yeah, she's absolutely incredible. Like, God, she's just captivating.
She's captivating, and she really sells the story of this character. Of this, she is initially a camera operator. She's the lead camera operator on a film who's now been promoted to a director, and she starts this kind of fling with Ryan Gosling's character, and she sells the fling like this setup, the first act of the movie of like they're working on a movie and it's before Gosling's character gets hurt and she is a camera operator and not yet a director. And this like their budding romance that like hasn't quite been established, but it feels real and passionate. But it also really sells a lot of her character's kind of anger and disappointment in the later film when like he stops answering her calls and stops communicating with her, where it's like they're in this kind of romance that is not well defined, but you can see expectations and build up in how they're both dealing with one another. So it's like you can see that this is more than flirtation, this is more than a fling, and that also takes something a little bit extra to sell, and it really sells the addition of the heartbreak when they meet back up and they haven't talked for so long that like we were both expecting something bigger out of this thing, and it didn't come, and that hurt both of us.
Yeah, they really got like the rug pulled out from underneath them before they were like fully established. They were like climbing up a mountain to like find their potential, and they fell down before they reached the top. And that's kind of more heartbreaking than like figuring a relationship out until it's like natural end. It really did. They really got their relationship just dropped off a cliff, quite literally, because he fell and broke his back doing a stunt. And it's one of the better, like, you understand why a relationship crumbled in a movie. Like, sometimes you'll watch a movie or a TV show and it's like, this relationship didn't work out because they just couldn't stop fighting about just nothing in particular. And you're like, no, a huge life event is such a good, like, breaking your back.
Yeah.
Messes you up, especially early in a relationship, messes you up to such an extent that you're like, yeah, you're going to make bad decisions. And
Yeah.
you're not going to be at your best. And if you haven't established that this is a person who, like, you know, I do like marriage vows, love you till the end of time kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, it's hard to put on someone when you're like a month into a relationship.
Yeah.
My back's so this is a really great setup of a relationship that like lost itself and found itself again.
And I think that that's what's key. That's one of the things that works so well in this movie is that it is the exact sweet spot for a relationship where it is understandable, but you're still rooting for both of these people.
Oh, yeah.
Where like they,
bad guy, no villain.
No true villain, because there are some movies that do this where it's like, and it's a very human thing that a lot of people have done in their lives, which is, you know, fuck up or wallow in self-pity and kind of mess up our relationships because of it. That is a very human flaw. That is a thing that a lot of us has done. It's something you can be sympathetic for, but it's different to be sympathetic towards that idea in real life and on film. And sometimes in movies, it'll be like, hey, you know, you wallowed in self-pity and then stopped raising your child and talking to your wife, and now we're rooting for you to get it back together. And it's like, that's a little rough to see or a bit too much.
Your kid needed you.
Yeah, and it's like, if that's the point of the movie, sure, but sometimes movies will be like, you're rooting for him, huh? And I'm like, I don't know if I am, really. But this is in that spot where it's like, it was escalating from fling to relationship, and nothing was defined, and you didn't quite feel like you could lean on someone, but it's that early relationship feelings where you're like, I feel like I could lean on them if I need to, but then that opportunity comes and you don't quite feel comfortable yet, and you just fuck everything up.
It's too early to have serious conversations because it's like, I can't bring up like marriage a month in, but it's also like, well, I've broken my back and I need to be cared for.
Yeah.
But like, we've only known each other a month.
You haven't yet defined how to have serious conversations, let alone to have one for the first time period. It is the exact spot that makes both of these characters really sympathetic and root for, even though Gosling's character, the stuntman, fucks things up.
He fucked up, definitely.
Colt fucks things up.
Definitely more than her. I mean, I'm not sure she fucked up at all because she kept trying to reach out and he
she's
changed.
Fine. She's doing fine.
He changed his phone number.
The relationship got fucked from him fucking up. Yeah.
Because it does lead to like, I think my favorite scene in this movie is when she wants him lit on fire over and over again and is yelling out their relationship problems through the megaphone as a metaphor for the movie they're filming.
Love it.
It's got so many layers of things happening that like coalesce and is just like a perfect encapsulation of this film. It's so funny. Just like, I want to hurt the man who hurt me, so I'm going to light him on fire over and over again. Not many people have the chance. Girl, take it.
Yep.
I'm going to like make a parallel plot of our lives with this movie script. And finally at the end when he gets to reply and he's just like, I haven't read the script. And he just doesn't know what to say.
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene, I think, in the entire thing.
I mean, I think the whole thing is like, yeah, that scene is wonderful. Like her burning him repeatedly, him getting on set and doing the car flip, I think is fantastic. I think just the entire kind of meta subplot of the movie being their relationship, I think is perfect.
Yeah, it really works as like a through line. Like I would say there's like one meta thing here that doesn't work, but like that I think to me is just like nice. Like the phone call about the split screen is delightful.
So good. So well shot, so well filmed. The parallel between the two of them, adding a little bit of comedy in it as well, of like her wearing the alien hand, it dropping, and him still seeing a unicorn in the room.
Oh, the unicorn runner was so funny. That unicorn was way more subtle than I expected him to be.
Yeah, a subtle unicorn. I agree.
What you don't expect is a plot line of like, I've been drugged and I'm high and there's a unicorn involved, but I will not acknowledge this unicorn. It's wildly funny.
Really good.
Really great runner. Good. But yeah, the split screen was another good, like, should I have a split screen in my movie? And there's a split screen here. And sometimes that's too much and you're like, I get it.
It was smart without being pretentious, and that's what I really liked about this. And I think that's also like, generally the tone of this movie is it is very aware of filmmaking, and it's meant to be additionally pleasurable to those who are fans of filmmaking, but it is not pretentious about it.
It's not pretentious about it. That is actually really great thing about it. It is fun to watch. I think the only, just like the quick meta joke they had that I didn't like was this like one line about like, what if we put a line in the movie about how the third act's a problem because we can't figure out the third act? And I'm like, that's too much. Now I'm just thinking your third act doesn't work. I'm going into this being like, oh, so your third act sucks? I thought this was a really poor lay down idea.
Okay.
Of meta stuff.
See, I liked that because that felt like a line acknowledging where the pretension border is, because it was the writer coming up and being like, what if it's a movie about having a tough time making a movie? And immediately Emily Blunt's character Judy, the director, goes, no, that's too much. That doesn't work. And I liked that. I see what you're saying. I agree that line, that was too much. And I think that her saying it's too much was the movie hanging a lantern on, being like, hey, by the way, this is an adaptation. All right, we're not doing any Kaufman type shit here. We are drawing a line at playful, and we're not going to border that. We're not crossing that at any point.
They did draw a line at playful. It's never like, oh, the horrors of making film, and it's so hard, and there's so much to figure out. It's like, no, it's like, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a little dangerous if you're the stunt guys, but like, it's fun. It's sci-fi. It's silly. We're all having a good time. We're going to karaoke. We don't need this pretentious thing. I like that reading of it, but yeah, it just made me think like, oh, did your third act fuck up?
I could see that line rubbing the wrong way.
And then I actually like did think the third act was a little up and down and too long, but it wasn't like terrible. It wasn't like they didn't figure out the love story, so that was not that bad. But yeah, because like this isn't meta, but just like at the end of the movie, they show how the stunts are done, and there's like a lot of behind the scenes stunts. So like at this point, like when you watch the movie, Aaron Taylor Johnson's the lead actor, and then Ryan Gosling is the stuntman. But then it shows the behind the scenes, and they're both dressed the same because they're playing the same character. And then their actual stunt guys, who they have 2 of each, are also dressed the same. And it's like, this had to be the most confusing set to walk around.
Yeah, who are we dealing with at any given point?
Who are we dealing with? Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ryan Gosling,
and they
one
do
of their
really
stunt
look
people?
like one another. Like, I do not think of Aaron Taylor Johnson and Ryan Gosling as 2 actors who particularly look alike, other than, you know, kind of being white dudes of the same approximate height. But with that kind of douchey haircut that they've given him and everything like that, it actually really sells that they're the same person.
They did do a good job of like having them both have the same body build at this point, because I think Aaron Taylor Johnson can really go up and down on his body. Like, I've never seen Ryan Gosling really like jack up.
I've never seen him this big. He's actually a little bit bigger than I've ever seen him.
I think this is the biggest one we've ever seen him. Yeah. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, like, he's playing Craven in a few months. He can go huge, and it felt like he like made himself a little bit smaller to like match. But also, the exact facial hair and hair that they would get on these guys was like pretty incredible.
Really good.
And also the stuntmen that we could see in like the little featurette at the end.
Yeah, they've got them looking pretty well.
And then you add Momoa, the third guy in the suit.
as a post-credit thing or whatever, who obviously is visually very different. Yes,
you still had to it's that scene we're shooting this day. We might as well film Momoa and Aaron Taylor Johnson probably.
Yeah, I do wonder when they had Momoa on set for this kind of one-off goof, which
was pretty good. As a man who is not like billed as being in this, maybe that's a spoiler we could have brought up.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well,
Momoa's
maybe
here.
Momoa's, but in a mid-credit scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's not always around. He's just kind of there.
But he had to film a little bit.
I do want to circle back to like the meta narrative, because I think it works on so many levels. We talked about there's the split screen moment where she's having a phone call with Colt, talking about the relationship in the movie while they're really talking about their relationship, while talking about whether or not they should use the split screen in the movie. And it's layered right up to the pretension line, and then it dials it back. It's fun, it's playful, it works, it's smart. But the whole movie within the movie being their relationship is smart. Like her burning him and trying to tell him the plot of the movie, and him being like, I haven't read the script, I don't know the words. And then the kind of thing like when he has like, they have the relationship discussion towards the end of the movie of him being like, I didn't know what to say, I didn't have the words at the end. And to be like, he's never known the script, and she has known the script but knows how difficult it is. And I love like the speech he gives of just like the breakdown of like, it hurts every time. So like the meta narrative of like making the movie is the feeling of making the relationship of like, it's difficult, it hurts every time. One person has the words, the other person doesn't, but like we've got to figure it out together. And then like, you know, him not being willing to give up on her movie at the end, which is not being willing to give up on their relationship. I thought that was really smooth and clever as well.
Yeah, they had a really like, you definitely could feel like that they can't do this separately. Like they really needed each other. I think like the most kind of joyous scene in this movie is when like she's like, we're gonna film these action scenes because you've inspired me, because you're the only action guy who can do this. And you really believe she means that. She's not just like, she's not doing this for the relationship. She's like, no, I actually think you're the only action guy who can do this. Then they have that really great montage of the fight scene in the rain. And it's like, even without
they're
words,
actually collaborating and like inspiring one another.
They are. And it's really amazing because we talked about how Emily Blunt is so good at like this like back and forth button pushing kind of relationship. But this is completely it's a montage. There's no dialogue. And you still feel the relationship like growing and the joy between them and how much they like bounce off each other in a good way. And it's like, it's like the movie's going well and they're going well.
Yeah.
And like if they're not meshing, the movie's not going well.
And I think that there is like I wonder how much like the everyday moviegoer can kind of relate to that, or if I got a little bit more juice out of it, because I think if you work in a creative field, not necessarily film, but any creative field, there is this magical feeling, and it's not necessarily romantic. It's not always romantic, though it can be. And in this film, it's portrayed as romantic. Is that there is this magical feeling when you work in a creative field where you feel the difference between like, oh, we're working together. and oh my God, we're working together.
I think collaborating is what you said earlier, and that makes...
That moment when you mesh and you realize like, oh my God, we're bouncing off of one another and we're making something that's bigger than either one of us were when we came into this. We're not people working in the same place at the same time. We are Voltroning our asses together and creating something from nothing that did not exist before. And that is such a special feeling. And this vignette does a really beautiful job of kind of showing this moment between two creative people in a creative field. And it's not just for filmmaking. It's not just for romantic relationships, but like it is a special creative feeling that I thought this movie did such a perfect job capturing.
It's absolutely very rare, and like it feels so good. I think as two creative people, we can agree who like do create things on our own, and we also collaborate on a ton of stuff with people. So you definitely feel it when you're like, oh shit, these pieces are clicking. We are building something easily. We're not building two things separately that we're gonna mash together later.
Yeah.
We are co-creating something, and it looks great. It's going wonderfully, and it's a wonderful feeling. It is like true art at that point. Like all art is art, but like you're like, oh, we're art in here.
That flow state where it's like, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we did collaborative flow state when you're both just and then we can do this and then
and there's
one
no
another
like
and
pretension and there's no holding on to ideas too long and you're just open-minded and you're flowing. It's rare and it feels nice, and that is what that scene encapsulated.
Yeah.
Which is like hard to even like get across. Like you can't just like be like, and this we're gonna do a scene about how collaboration can really click. And it's like, well, you're gonna have to really click to make a scene about how collaboration can really click.
And that's why I'm very curious, because like obviously like we saw that and got that because we've lived that. And I'm very curious what people who work in non-creative fields can like see and feel from that. There's some extent of that in everyday life, but it's really special in a creative world.
Yeah, I think creative is definitely a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I think I can guess how you feel. How do you feel about our good friend the dog? Is he Jean-Claude or Jean-Luc? Which were you?
Jean-Claude.
Jean-Paul.
Jean-Paul? No, it was Jean-Claude.
Well, then I'll erase the word Paul from my notes.
No, I thought it was Jean-Claude. It was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude makes
or
way
Jean-Claude
more sense.
Van
And
Dog
he spoke
or whatever.
French. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Paul out of here. My apologies.
I'm pretty sure it was Jean-Claude, but I could be mistaken.
He's not in IMDb is the problem.
Fair enough.
When you have a dog actor.
Fun dog. No complaints. I had a great time with him. How do you feel about
I loved the dog. When it was one of the only, not one of the only, but I absolutely is necessary. When you have a dog in any kind of movie, especially an action movie, you have to make it really clear the dog's going to be fine. And the vibes were so clear around this dog that the dog was going to be fine.
We're strapping the dog into a seatbelt, him telling the dog to engage his core.
One of the best moments.
Yeah.
And the dog just being like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I'm engaging my core.
I'm a stunt dog. I know what I'm doing. I've engaged my core. But yeah, he was a perfectly good, like, great, like, he's funny, he's cute, they use him just enough, he's always going to be safe. Emily Blunt even like at the end, like saving him from getting shot. I really wish she had a line there like, dogs don't die in my movie. Like it really felt like there was like a nice meta moment to be had there. I'm like, I do like the acknowledgement that dogs should not die in movies.
Okay.
Dogs shouldn't die, period.
Yeah.
But a really great like halfway through the movie edition. I was like, I didn't think this dog was sticking around. This is great.
Yeah. It is nice that they do it is a late edition of a dog. I do agree with that. Yeah.
And he gets a water at the bar. He's just like, he's a great little companion. Doggos.
Yeah, I think I see the movie that you wanted this to be, and it really is The Nice Guys. The dog really had like
a dog in The Nice Guys? I haven't
there's
seen
not,
it
but
for a
there's
while.
something about that energy that feels very like
Is Russell Crowe the dog?
ordering a water for a dog at a bar and while showing up beat up just feels very like it feels very Shane Blacky. Like there's things in this where I'm like, oh, I know the movie that you like.
These are the parts I liked and what I wanted the whole movie to be.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I still like those parts. I do think that those parts really work. Yeah, so I do like the dog. I like the dog hanging out at the bar. I like the chase scene through the city with like the garbage truck or bin truck, whatever you want to call that.
Whatever they call it in Australia.
Sure.
Bin truck sounds like what they would say. I don't know, because
They'd call it a binny.
They've got when they called him a stunty,
Australia.
You love an IE at the end of a
What
word.
is, or a Y? I think it's a Y.
You think it's Y?
I think it's a Y. Like, Australia's cutesiness of every profession is like, I don't know if I love or hate it, and it really does flip day to day. Like, when I hear Aussies who are like, oh, I needed to get someone in to like work on my house, be like, called someone in the tradies. Had a Sparkies. They called an electrician Sparkies.
Sparkies.
And I'm just like, every job with the Y or the IE, I'm not sure how
I mean,
you're
if it's plural,
going
it's
for
IE.
it.
I think
Yeah,
is
then
what
it
I
would
was
be an
going
IE.
for.
Yes, yeah. Stunty. When this movie,
Because
when they're
we've
like
talked about this
stunties.
before off mic about how Australia does this. They add a little Y to everything. So as soon as you just get to Australia and the second he lands, he's like, oh, it's a stunty, and we're like, you really do this to everybody.
You really every job,
Every single job.
Yeah. Yeah, we were watching a TV show once, and they were like, "Oh, plummy, a plummy,
A tradie.
a tradie, a plummy."
I think like if you work in craft services, you're a crafty.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why Australia does it. It's cute. It is cute. There are times where I'm like, I don't know if you need to be cute right now.
And I don't know enough about England to know if they call them bathing costumes. That doesn't seem right.
I think that does.
You think that sounds right?
I think that sounds
England?
right.
That's a costume?
A costume?
What if... Okay.
Yeah.
You do you, England.
Yeah, I guess.
Learning a lot in this movie. International.
It's a very international film.
International film.
Yeah. I will. Another meta thing that I did enjoy them hanging a lantern on. I was okay with the product placement truck. With them being like,
as long as they just straight up say it, yeah.
yeah, of the coordinator on the film within the film being like, I only have 2 left-hand drive vehicles because they're in Australia, but they're trying to shoot it for America. So I only have 2 left-hand drive vehicles, and they're both product placements. And I think that is very funny. I really liked that. I'm okay with hanging a lantern on that.
That is funny, yeah. And him having to come up to the 2 identical trucks and not knowing which one it's going to be. They really... I like if you're forced to do product placement, at least make it a little bit funny.
Do
don't
something.
Don't try to fool me.
Yeah.
Don't try to sneak it in.
Yeah. I think the only one that they tried to sneak in that became a little bit obnoxious was Apple. The predominance of iPhone and the Apple logos and the iPads and the tablets, and it's like, you were really all... And I know Apple tries to be like, we're for creatives. But it's just like the tight close-up shot of the Apple logo on every laptop computer of everything in Video Village, of everything related to the movie within the movie. And then except for the lead actor who has a nondescript phone because he did a murder that was recorded on it. And Apple
the bad guys can't have the
bad
Apple
guys
phone.
aren't allowed to use iPhones.
That is a weird way to figure out who's the villain in things if you know that little trick.
Yeah. I mean, by that point, we know that he's the villain, but still.
But still, yeah. I remember we were watching a show once, and we were like, oh, shit, it's this guy, because he was
the only one with an Android phone.
He had an Android phone.
Yeah.
We were like, uh-oh, that's the bad guy.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Apple will sue you if you have a villain use an iPhone in a film. Even if it's not like, this one was very laced with product placement, like Apple clearly paid to have their product prominent in every scene that they possibly can. But even on like an episode of Law and Order or whatever the hell that Apple has paid no money for, they will come at you if you have a villain use an iPhone. So yeah, they're very litigious about only good people use iPhones.
See, this makes me feel
that subtle manipulation of public.
It's
the
subtle.
public.
Yeah, that is subtle. I'll tell you that. And actually, maybe they were too subtle, or maybe I'm just like immune to product placement for Apple because I didn't notice a single Apple logo in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know if that is good or bad for me. Like, did I subconsciously filed it away, or I was just like, I don't give a shit. I don't know what that says about me.
Yeah, Apple is. I mean, I don't know if it says anything about you, but like it says definitely about the success of Apple's subconscious marketing, which is that they only want to be seen as creative and kind, and they don't want you to think about it, but they do want that subtle twist of everything in society.
We didn't really talk about the car scene. We got on what garbage bins are called. But yeah, that scene's cool. It's another one where I'm like, it's weird that Stephanie's shoe just kind of appears and then disappears for this one scene. But other than that, it's wildly fun. Yeah, the bin like rotating while they're going down the street is
really
like
cool.
Really cool. They're having a fight scene inside a garbage bin that's rotating as they go down the street. There's a lot of layers happening there. Like when he's parkouring around. I love sending the dog to he bit a lot of testicles, but it never really got old.
It never got old. It was always funny and charming.
Always good.
I had a really good time with it.
Always good time. Yeah, this was one of my favorite stunts, I think, in this.
Yeah. I mean, I think I liked the nightclub fight. I probably liked a little bit better just because of the stylistic choices that they made there. But yeah, this was a really
real
great
set
chase
piece.
scene. This was a real set
Yeah,
piece.
because I think,
and I even really liked the intercutting between the karaoke conversation.
it really built up the adding this musical element and emotional element. Because before the music starts, Emily Blunt is finding out that Ryan Gosling's character left town even though he didn't. So she's emotionally getting destroyed while he's getting his ass kicked. And then she starts singing and the music's intercutting with the chase scene. It's as a person who doesn't normally notice music, and that's kind of a runner on this show for us, I noticed all the music in this, and I was it's really working. They've really vibed it.
Well, you don't notice music, but you notice musicals. You like it when characters sing their feelings.
Yeah, I do. Oh, and she did.
And she did.
She did.
She sung her feelings.
She did it.
So that's one you're gonna notice for sure.
Definitely. Although there was other ones where I also like when a movie it's slightly musical-esque. Some musicals do this, where the music is in the scene, when he starts thinking about her and has a montage, and it's to Taylor Swift, but he visually turns the radio on.
Oh yeah.
And I'm I love that. I love when you know where the music's coming from.
Him crying in the car, having a great time.
That was great. I did
Really
not
good.
expect her to tap on the window and be like, "You're not having a moment, are you?"
So good. They're both so good. This is such a sweet spot as well of as much as we gave a bunch of credit to Emily Blunt earlier. This is such a sweet spot of Ryan Gosling's skills as well of the I am the quiet brooding type, but I'm also kind of silly and weird and I know how to do comedy. This is such a combination of if Ken starred in the film Drive.
I was literally just about to combine those two movies.
It's Ken's Drive.
It's Ken's Drive.
It's Ken's big drive.
Yeah, at one point he even goes to the beach and he goes to the sand and he's
Sand's
no good. And his job's beach. So
you're goddamn right. His job is beach.
So you're gonna have to listen to him. If he says the sand is no good,
yeah, and then you gotta listen. And he was right. There wasn't enough grip. He hit that camera.
And he warned them. He warned them.
And
he
he did warn them that he was gonna hit the camera. Yeah. So it's such a. This is the Venn diagram, a perfect sweet spot for Ryan Gosling, and it's a lot of. I'm not saying that this is the best role he's ever done. I'm not saying it's the pinnacle of his career and he won't do a better one. I'm saying that this requires all of the skills that he has attained, all of the soul Avenger-like acting skills that he has assembled to create his collection of abilities is in the dead center of this film. He needs all of them to make this work, and he does it.
He absolutely does it. Yeah, it's very funny because some actors try to redefine themselves, and Drive in that era was very serious Ryan Gosling, and then he went a little sillier with Nice Guys. Barbie's probably the silliest he's done, and then he was like, what if I took everything I am and I made it one being? What if I really found my sweet spot of everything I like doing and I'm really good at? Yeah, the essence of Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, this movie really is the essence.
Yeah, and he nails it. He's so charming and fun to watch in every scene.
Yeah. Yep. He really works. He's charming. He's fun. And yeah, him and Emily Blunt work well together, as she does with absolutely everyone. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson does great as kind of the jerk head actor. Hannah Waddingham is phenomenal as the producer.
I really could have used more Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Interesting.
Yeah, just because he was in so little of that opening scene when the accident happens, and then he doesn't come back for an hour and a half. Until the reveal of him trying to kill Ryan Gosling. And I was I didn't really get a feel for who you were as a shitty movie star. Okay.
Now, I will say, as much as we said there was no big spoilers in this off the top, I kind of like that they did one thing here, which is that the trailers make it seem like his character legitimately dies. In the trailers for this movie, the body on ice, I think it is digitally replaced with his actual face and not the stunt person that we see in the film.
Is it? Because the stunt person also looks like him.
I agree, but I think in the trailers, they show that body, and I believe they've digitally actually put his face on there. So I think that they're trying to get us to believe that he is legitimately dead, which I didn't necessarily buy into, but I do like that it differed from showing the advertising campaign.
I usually really hate when when advertising campaigns are different from the actual movie. I think it's false advertising.
Sure.
But in this case, I actually, if they did do that, which I don't know if they did, it's kind of like, well, also that's what we're doing to Ryan Gosling in the movie. So it's like a little hint.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're going to put his face on Aaron Taylor Johnson and he's going to look like he killed the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is kind of a little meta in itself if they did do that.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
But I am fully hard on you should not be able to put things in trailers that aren't in the movie.
Yeah, I am okay with that as well.
I
Yeah.
don't
Lies
think
aren't
that's
lies aren't
cool.
twists.
Lies aren't twists.
Lies aren't twists.
I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
This is a very silly thing, but I thought of you and I was wondering if you were like, yeah. During the final fight scene, there's so many carabiners.
Oh, I love a good carabiner.
You
love a good carabiner.
And I didn't know if that was like you like to see them or you just like to use them in real life.
I like to use them. I think seeing them, I don't fetishize the carabiner.
I didn't think you fetishize them, but if you were like, there's my boy, carabiner.
Well, there's like a moment where they use it and I'm like, yeah, that thing will click into anything. I love that. I love that about carabiners.
It was so easy to fight these bad guys with just a couple carabiners.
They're so helpful and I respect it greatly. So I really like that. Shout out to my boy Carabiner, but it's only a moment of joy. It's not a long term.
If there's any carabiner companies out there that would like to sponsor this podcast, Andrew will give you the most glowing
If
review.
you got any carabiner hookup, like send them
Hook up.
Puns?
Because they hook
up. Love a good carabiner. Yeah, everyone needs more carabiners in their life. It can connect anything to anything. They're wonderful.
It's really good. It's great if you have to fight a bad guy real quick.
Yeah.
Winston Duke rocked the shit out of the carabiner fight.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
That was excellent stuff.
I will also say this movie does a really great job of, other movies are not this good at it, very subtle information that will be a callback later. The fact that he could drive a boat with his hands tied.
That was pretty good.
Was a great reveal and then fruition of that little piece of information. It seemed so natural when it came out. The girl was like, "What's with your Miami Vice jacket?" And it's like, yeah, of course he's done so many stunts. I don't even care that he's just talked about how he can drive a boat with his hands tied. And then it actually leading to him if they hadn't had that line, I'd be like, how the hell can he drive a boat with his hands tied?
And the Miami Vice music kicking in was so strong as well. That was really nice. I think what the movie does really well is doing it multiple times so that it actually does kind of seed into the background a little bit better. Whether it's he's looking at the prop gun that is in the actor's house and
blanks only.
Blanks only. So it's as soon as I see that, I'm like, okay, we're going to have a thing later where he pretends like it's a real gun and no one gets shot. And we're setting that up, but then we set up the Miami Vice thing, and then there was the axe guitar prop thing, which comes back later. Then there was one other one as well, which I forget now, but there were a few different elements of that where if you do that enough times, it really just feels like characters living in that world making conversation.
Yeah. Not just one weird piece of information that came out once that was unconnected. You got to really smoothly put your callbacks in early.
Oh, I think even when we run into Stephanie Shoot, it's the dog only has commands in French and knows how to bite people's. Yeah, I know. And it's okay, but doing multiples of those and having everything kind of seeded in made it very seamless. Whereas a lot of movies will just have one and they'll repeat it multiple times. They'll be like, hey, don't forget he was in Miami Vice and he can drive a boat backwards, and they'll not seed anything else in. And treating one thing differently makes it feel weird to the audience. But having it multiple times for multiple events seeded things in, I think, very smoothly.
It makes it feel grounded, but still paid off. I love that. Yeah, and I feel like there's also been a weird trend in movies lately where they will seed something in and then never pay it off. And this can be rewrites. This can be for lots of reasons. But I feel like there's been 3 or 4 movies in the last year where we've been like, why didn't they delete the line that they didn't have any payoff for? What was this? There's a real need to have a line with payoff sometimes, and it can really, really work, but you have to make it a little bit subtle at least.
Yeah, you have to make it a little bit subtle or keep in the payoff. I agree there has been a weird trend of that. And some of it I feel like is misdirect, some of it's product placement, some of it's weird stuff. Placement. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of learning wrong lessons from things.
The Stephanie Shu scene especially did a great job because it was very motivated within the scene, because she's he'll at command he'll bite someone in the nuts, because at this point she also wants Ryan to leave.
Yeah.
She's trying to get him away. So it's like she's seeded in this information. He's like, no, do it. But then he gets to use the information later. It's really smart script writing.
The Post-it note stuff as well.
The Post-it notes, the Memento-esque Post-it notes.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say like everything that needs that type of moment, they went into the script and they went back and they said, where can we start this earlier? And if you do enough of those, it makes everything feel very real and organic.
Yeah. And it's also just like the line delivery. Like most of these are Ryan Gosling's lines and he just nails it. He's like, no, I can make it seem conversational and loose and natural.
Yeah, he knows how to do it comfortably.
Yeah, it really makes for a fun movie experience. You're like, oh, this is a movie about making movies, and you know how to at least write a movie and make a movie.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
It would be really embarrassing if you made a movie about making movies and you weren't good at that.
Yeah.
That would be a real color pull.
It's been done before, and it'll be done again, of people being like, hey, it's a thing about making the greatest thing you've ever seen. It's like, is it though? Is it really? Is Studio 60 the best sketch comedy that anyone has ever seen in the entire world? Ever? Really? Okay. So yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Things like that. And like, I like that this movie's, you talked about its lack of pretension earlier, and I like that the movie is like, we're making a really good sci-fi movie. We're not making a great movie.
And I also love
we're making like an Oscar winner, like anything. Like, no, we're making like a high budget sci-fi movie that's probably people are gonna like quite a bit.
And I also loved the intercutting of some of the actual action scenes from the movie within the movie, of the like showing Aaron Taylor Johnson's character like giving the speech on top of the car in front of like 10 extras, intercut with him giving the speech with a finalized background of all the spaceships. That kind of quick back and forth hit of like finished, unfinished, and on set of that moment where Colt and Jodie like are collaborating and being creative together for that one big fight set piece, kind of like outside the headquarters at the Opera House in Sydney, in the sand and in the rain. And like
the way the like filter would go on for how it looks in the actual movie of like the desert kind of look.
So like those jumps from like the camera is back and you can see the director directing the film within the film. Then we're jumping to the camera that's filming the film within the film. And then we're jumping to the like fully finalized production version with visual effects and stuff like that. Just, really cool and clever stuff. I like I really do think that like the way that this movie is executed is brilliant.
It is really good. It is a movie that I'm like, maybe if I saw it again with my knowing what it is, I might get closer to a love. I still don't think it's going to get to a love, but I'm like, I do want to see the movie Winston Duke's in. Winston Duke is in the movie I wanted to watch. That I like really admire. Like, this is still a good movie, but I'm like, it's weird that the side characters in the movie I thought this movie was.
Let's just go see another movie with Winston Duke in it.
I'll do that any day of the week. He's also very good.
He's also very good.
Everyone is good in this.
So that's easy and breezy. Mm-hmm. We can roll with that. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question now of what would you change? So now that we've discussed everything we've discussed, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do ask that final question, we will remind you, as we do every week, to please take a moment and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps us move up the charts. It helps us find new listeners. Leave a little rating. If you're in Australia, call us your favorite potties or whatever. Casties, whatever cutesy name Australians have given podcasters, because I know you've given us one.
You must have one. Not just us specifically, but podcasters.
Yeah. You always give a cute little thing to every person in every profession.
We demand it.
Tell us we're good casties, please. And I hope you're laughing with me because we're having fun. I love you, Australia. And that's how you support the podcast for free. If you do want to support the podcast monetarily, you can do that over on our Patreon page. On Patreon, you can subscribe at whatever level is in your budget, and you will get cool bonuses for doing so. Like, for example, even at the $1 level, if you just have $1 to kick in, you will get our webcomic early. At the $3 level, you get these episodes early and ad-free, which is awesome, especially when we're talking about new movies like Fall Guy.
Yeah, like Fall Guy. If you are a $3 plus patron, it's probably like Friday and you're listening to this instead of Monday if you're not one of our patrons. And that's pretty cool. You can go into the weekend being like, well, I know what I'm doing. It's either seeing or not seeing Fall Guy based on our recommendations.
Easy. And as well, then, at the $10 level, you will get an exclusive episode of this podcast every single month. This month, because we're building up to Furiosa, you can hear us talk about the original 1979 Mad Max.
Been a minute since I watched that one.
I don't know if I ever have.
Holy shit.
So we're talking about 1979 1979's Mad Max over on the Patreon. That will be available shortly. Head over to patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That is patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And check out all of the levels. If you have it in your budget, check it out. There's no obligations as well. You can always cancel or change your level on any given month. And thank you to all of our current and future patrons. So head on over patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change about this movie if you could change anything? I have a sneaking suspicion I may know.
I feel a little embarrassed now, but I wrote the change down before we started. So my small change, unrelated to what I've been whining about, is that Aaron Taylor Johnson's in this movie a little bit more. Not even because I'm I think he really rules. I think he's quite good. But I do want to get a feel for a villain. I want to know who he is. I don't really feel in that first scene that he's that much of an asshole when we meet him, where he's just a little bit less face. I'm sure most Hollywood actors want a little less face from their stunt guy. So I did want to see him even more at one point, Emily Blunt is watching film of him that she's recorded. He doesn't even need to be there. Just a way for me to be what's this guy like? Because the whole point is supposed to be that Ryan Gosling knows this guy so well that he can go find him even though he's missing. So I was I don't really know anything about Aaron Taylor Johnson. I would like to get more of a vibe for him. So I think I need at least 5 more minutes of Aaron Taylor Johnson earlier in the film. And then my biggest change is going to be that Ryan Gosling isn't automatically good at fighting people, or at least freaks out more about it. He's never really fought a guy as far as I know. Because what I didn't know is the Fall Guy TV show is about a stuntman who was a bounty hunter on his free time. But that's not what Ryan Gosling's character does. But so he should be I think he just needs to freak out more. And I love Ryan Gosling freaking out. So I just need him to be yeah, I'm fighting drug dealers. That's huge. I've never actually punched anyone for real.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that I think is very funny, and I want more of that and more. So what Winston Duke's bringing when he's fighting a person and yelling "Born Identity," I'm this guy gets it. You just yell "Born Identity" and you do the choreography from Born Identity. This is the movie I wanted, but it's a very good movie, and those are my changes. Andrew, what would you change?
What I would change is I wish someday you get that movie that you want. I want that for you.
Thank you.
I want that for you. I think my only change is just to make the movie pick up the pace a tiny bit, even though I don't think it dragged in the way that you thought it dragged. I think that there is maybe 10 cuttable minutes here. And I think the kind of subplot of his girlfriend also co-starring in the movie and then having a fake samurai sword fight and whatever that was, that kind of goes nowhere and just eats up screen time.
Yeah, he could have just found that information on a Post-it.
Yeah, it could have just been anything, because really all she did was why don't you go see someone else somewhere else about something else, because I'm not particularly plot relevant in this location at this particular time.
Yeah, and I'm not interesting or funny.
Yeah, I'm not interesting or funny. It doesn't really matter that I'm in the movie. I wasn't at your origin story in the beginning of this either. So it's
origin story.
Colt's origin story of the accident. She wasn't in the other movie. She isn't really. And then at the end of the movie, it's okay, this actor who is now dead and also, did a murder has now been replaced by Jason Momoa in the film. And I'm this woman was also an accomplice and a conspirator and was there when a crew of mercenaries were covering Colt in gasoline to set him on fire while alive in front of her.
Was that her? Was she
was
there?
also there.
This woman had a really interchangeable face to me.
But either
real
way,
Sienna Miller-esque.
And she was in the video as well. I'm either way, you watched a murder, you covered up a murder, you attacked a man, you conspired to frame a man for murder, and then you were about to watch a man be burned alive. And then the end of the movie is just she was in the movie too, and she's on the movie poster. And I'm is she? I really feel it would be way better if you just deleted all of this character's scenes from this movie, both the movie within the movie and the film The Fall Guy.
I can agree with that. Because, if you have to replace Aaron Taylor Johnson, you have to replace everyone who did the crimes.
Who did murder.
Or your movie's not getting released. This is a real, we replaced Kevin Spacey in that one movie after allegations came out.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just I don't think, and it just kills time. It kills time and it doesn't go anywhere. It is just a couple of random scenes with a person who's your money's not here, your money's at someone else's house. So yeah, cutting that's my big change. It makes the pace move a little bit quicker.
No, that is wildly cuttable and would get us there a little bit faster. She adds nothing.
Yeah. Get on out of here.
Out of here.
Well, that's going to be it for this week, talking about The Fall Guy. Next week, we're going to be back on the podcast, and we're going to be talking about the new film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Kingdom
of the Planet of the Apes. It's a kingdom now.
They've got a king.
And we'll be talking about that next week. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find me on Instagram and most social medias. I'm at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can find me at Pics of Diana or on Tumblr at Words of Diana.
And you can find both of us at From Superheroes most places. And you can find everything we create over at FromSuperheroes.com. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.